Starting about a month ago, the Chamber's Executive Committee began to deliberate on the question of whether to endorse in the United States Senate race, and if we are to endorse, for whom. And the unanimous conclusion of the Chamber's Executive Committee is that the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce should lend its support and endorse our governor, Joe Manchin, for the United States Senate in the 2010 election cycle. In my experience in working for a better business climate for West Virginia as a way to improve the quality of life that all of us enjoy here in our state, that there was a time when you really couldn't talk about the possibility of cutting business taxes. And with Governor Manchin's leadership, we've managed to not only cut the corporate net income tax, we are on the track to eliminate the business franchise tax, and with his leadership have managed to cut the food tax as well. And again, I'm telling you that there was a time you couldn't even have the conversation in West Virginia. Not only has Governor Manchin led the charge to improve West Virginia's competitiveness in the business tax area, we have seen workers' compensation reforms initiated by Governor Manchin that have led to a reduction in cost of 40% for overall workers' comp in West Virginia. West Virginia has gone from having by far the highest costs in the country to now being a competitive state in the area of workers' comp costs. In the area of legal reform, 10 legal reform bills have been passed with the help of Governor Manchin and the leadership that has come from his office. We've seen insurance reforms that save West Virginia consumers and employers an average of $100 million a year. And let me tell you, business can't operate without insurance. And it was Governor Manchin's leadership that caused us to jump in and solve an insurance crisis that everybody said, I don't think is solvable. And there was real despair that the job couldn't be done, and Governor Manchin led the way to do that.
In today's economy, as many of you know, many businesses, large and small, are struggling. And today's employers are really unsure of what they're dealing with, from large government programs to many, many regulations, sweeping overhauls. What does that all mean to their bottom line? And that uncertainty is really hurting growth in the private sector. We hear it from our members in West Virginia, and we hear it from our members all over the country. Governor Manchin recognizes that struggle and has the record to reverse it. We believe very strongly in that. And so I'm here today on behalf of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce to provide our endorsement to Joe Manchin for the United States Senate. Washington really needs independent voices, willing to bring all parties to the table, which he has done many times for me here in West Virginia, to enact common sense solutions that address our economic struggles. He knows how to bring people together, he knows how to strive for solutions, and he knows when to take people on, particularly the Obama administration, when that's necessary. As governor of West Virginia, this is exactly what he's done. He's brought people together to get solutions.
Let me just say that to Steve and Lisa, I couldn't be more pleased, truly more pleased, than to have this endorsement. These are the people that we've worked at the level we have worked for the last 5.5, almost 6 years now, through some of the most challenging and difficult times, and not just in our state but in the nation, and been able to succeed. If not only succeed, we've been a leader, and the rest of the country's taken notice. West Virginia is looked upon differently than ever before because we've worked together. Bringing people together is what it's all about. I've said this, a leader is a dealer in hope. If you can't give hope and then show good leadership that you can move the ball forward, then anybody could be and say about anything they want to. But the bottom line is the results. We've attained unprecedented results in 6 years. And when you have all sides coming together, business, labor, Republicans, Democrats, looking and trying to move forward for the betterment of our society, that's what I intend to take to Washington. I've said what Washington needs right now is a good dose of West Virginia and the success we've had. That's what they need. And my grandfather always told me, if you're inclined to want to share the wealth, you better be able to create wealth. In order to create wealth, you better be able to attract investment. And if you're going to attract investment, there better be a return on investment. And if there's a return on investment, you will have wealth to distribute in the form of good jobs, livable wages, benefits. All these things go in sync. And for far too many years in West Virginia, we've allowed people to divide us. You're either on the business side or the labor side. You're either for me or against me. I said, I don't think so. I think we all want the same thing. I've never seen in my life a prosperous business that didn't have dedicated workers. And I've never seen a good workforce to be good and be able to prosper unless they had a good place to work. So I never could figure why we let people separate us. And we stopped that 6 years ago. And needs to be stopped in America. This toxic atmosphere, this hatred that's going on is awful. You'll never fix a problem if all you're going to do is blame somebody. And we've got problems to be fixed. I believe where this government's gone wrong right now under President Obama is basically overreaching. Overreaching to where government's going to fix everything. Government's going to tell you what to do and how to do it. That's not the spirit of West Virginia. It's not the spirit of America. He and I respectfully disagree, and I say disagree with a capital D, disagree on cap and trade. We disagree on EPA's encroachment. We disagree when you look at the health care. There's nobody that I understand on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, that believe that you should be denied insurance, should be denied to be able to buy insurance if you have a pre-existing condition. I believe everyone agrees that we should be able to get in the market. I'm looking for that word, but basically you can market that. But people should be allowed. Children shouldn't be denied. CAP shouldn't be. But that whole has to be in the mix. The only people at risk in America without health care coverage is working people. I have made a commitment that every working person in West Virginia should have access to available, affordable health care. Every available working person. Because if you're old, you have it. If you're young, you have it. If you're poor, you have it. If you're a criminal, you have it. But if you're working, your chances are you don't have it. Or you can't afford it, or you can't get it. Small business. That has to be, those things have to be fixed. Okay? And there's so much, you're hearing all this political rhetoric right now. But the bottom line is, these are the people that know me best. They've set the table through some difficult times and challenging times. We haven't always agreed, but we've always worked together. That's the beauty of it. And you know what? The end result always came out for the betterment of our state. I don't have a political agenda, and I don't make decisions based on the political atmosphere. I make them based on what's best for West Virginia. And we have done that. We've crossed party lines, we've crossed philosophical lines, and we have prospered. Who would have ever thought, in the depths of the greatest recession, that this little state of West Virginia is one of the few states paying its bills. One of the few states in a cash position that we can get through some of the most difficult times. We have not raised taxes. We have not cut services. We have not laid people off and denied the services that are needed by so many people. We haven't done any of those things. And you know what? We're not going to. Don't need to. We've been able to make adjustments to live within our means, the same as every household in West Virginia has to do. This government needs to get its financial house in order. We can't carry the debt we're carrying right now. When you have the federal government competing for the dollars that the private sector need to make the investments to create the jobs, that has to change.